Okay, I'm going to start. We're ready?
Hey, down front.
You guys are set?
We don't want to be on or anything.
I'm not talking yet. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Northampton Commons and to our recognition ceremony honoring Northampton Township Patriots serving in Operation Iraqi Freedom. My name is Pete Palestina, and I am chairman of the Northampton Township Board of Supervisors. It's my honor to be your coordinator this evening, and I'd like to introduce my fellow supervisors and board members behind me. We have Vice Chairman Dr. Art Friedman, Secretary John Long Jr., Treasurer James Kinney, and Supervisor George Komelasky. Our special guest speaker this evening, and I will more formally introduce later, is retired Army Captain and Vietnam War hero David Christian. And our very special guests and ceremony participants are the families of those we will honor this evening. Let me take a moment to tell you what this is all about and how it got started. A couple of weeks ago, I was contacted by Bernadette Heenan, who told me that a group of moms and wives, referred to as families of our Northampton Patriots, had gotten together and formed a kind of support group. Bernadette asked about the possibility of having some type of recognition ceremony for these troops and invited me to a meeting with several moms and wives at her house in order to discuss it. At the time, all we had was an anonymous benefactor who would purchase ceremonial flags and an inspiration to do something to honor our brave Northampton servicemen and servicewomen involved in Iraqi freedom. At the time, the war was going on full throttle, and with all the protests against the war being highlighted by the media, there was a desire to have a public display supporting and honoring these brave people. They thought a small ceremony at our township's commons would be a nice way to go, and were looking for ideas to make it work. They humbly asked if the supervisors would support them and allow the use of the commons for the ceremony. I was touched at that meeting. They were concerned about their loved ones in harm's way, and yet the words of pride and patriotism flowing from their mouths nearly left me in tears. We came up with the idea of different flags representing the branch of the military served by each patriot, and how to recruit information to identify as many Northampton residents serving in Iraqi freedom as possible. The flags with the streamer identifying the patriot would be planted in the commons and stay until the person returns, at which time the flag will be given to him or her as a keepsake and token of appreciation for their patriotic service in protecting our country and liberating Iraq. I took the idea back to my Board of Supervisors, asked if they would support this plan. They did so enthusiastically, and here we are this evening. What better place to have this type of ceremony than at a small park that the township has built and dedicated to all those Northampton residents who volunteered and served. As of now, we have 24 known servicemen and servicewomen who are serving in Operation Iraqi Freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, I direct your attention to my right, your left, to our color guard from the Marine Corps League, who will present the colors, after which Megan Sexton, here with us this evening, will sing the national anthem. Thank you, Megan. There are two special young guests, sons of a son and a daughter of two of our Patriots. 5-year-old Anthony McQuiggan and 6-year-old Nicole Minto, who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Are you ready, guys?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
Nice job, guys. You may recognize our keynote speaker as one who has appeared on the Fox News network, where he is employed as a news consultant. During the last few weeks, he has been giving expert commentary on the war with Iraq. Still others may know him as a war hero. As a young U.S. Army officer during the Vietnam conflict, he would go on to become one of the most decorated veterans of the Vietnam War. Included were the Distinguished Service Cross, 2 Silver Stars, a Bronze Star, 7 Purple Hearts, the Air Medal, the Combat Infantryman's Badge, and 2 Vietnamese Crosses of Gallantry, just to name those that were the most important. In addition, David Christian has become the youngest second lieutenant in Army history, then the youngest first lieutenant, and finally the youngest captain. Twice he received the last rites. He had been shot in the chest, stabbed in the arm, suffered stomach and other injuries from an exploding anti-tank weapon, watched as his feet were ripped up, and received napalm burns over 40% of his body. But Captain Christian's tour of duty wasn't limited to his teenage years in Vietnam. After the war, Dave Christian continued to infiltrate behind enemy lines during the Cold War for Uncle Sam. Escaping the clutches of death more often than he likes to remember, this real American hero developed and honed his skills as an operative. He was seriously injured and even imprisoned on different occasions in Russia, Bosnia, Chechnya, the Middle East, Lithuania, and his old training grounds, Vietnam and Cambodia. He is the National Commander of the Legion of Valor, calls Bucks County his home, and resides in Washington's Crossing. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome retired Army Captain David Christian.
Thank you very much, Pete. It's kind of old homecoming here to, I'm a Bucks County boy, always, and John Heenan asked me if I would come out here and say a few words. He sent me an email. Well, you can receive emails from anywhere in the world. So I said, well, where do you live? Where are you going to have this ceremony? And he said, Northampton. Well, we also have a Northampton County in Pennsylvania. It's a distance from here. And he said, Northampton and Bucks County. And so I said, gee, you almost feel a commitment. And I know many of your supervisors here that have served you very well for many years. I know the difficulties of being a public servant, whether you're in uniform serving your country, or whether you're up here in a suit and tie in a different uniform. It's very difficult. But most importantly, I think the reflection today is on those that aren't with us today, and that's our sons and daughters and our brothers. And I'd like to share with you, if I could, for 1 second, the first night that I experienced in combat. That I landed in a far-off land that I knew nothing about, and I'm sure they had some of the same experiences. And as I was reporting on the war, I was in New York City reporting, and I was analyzing the war for the nation. I was thinking my thoughts and how they may be similar to their experiences. And I remember the first night trying to go to sleep. And it was very, very unusual for me because I wasn't used to being serenaded with large cannon explosions. I didn't know if there were explosions going out or coming in. I didn't know if I was supposed to run or if I was supposed to stay in my cot. I was still waiting for my assignment. And I thought of my mother. My mother passed away right before I went to Vietnam. And I was 18, and I always talked to my mother in prayer. And I was thinking, Mom, what's going on? This is real serious. And I knew that the boys and the girls that are fighting in Iraq face the same thing, the same questions. And I can tell you the toughest people in the world have the biggest hearts also. You may sometimes think that a tear is a sign of weakness, but a tear is also a sign of strength. And I can also share with you that sometimes people cry in combat, people get scared, and it's a natural instinct. And going through the experience of having people fire weapons at you and you fire weapons at other people, it becomes something that you have to reflect on. And the thing I always reflected on was my mother. She gave me kind of a strength. I was also married. I had a wife, but I more thought about my mother because she raised me. She brought me into this world, and I could leave this world. And so many different things could happen. And here we were defending our nation. And I used to be confused. When I would read the newspapers, they'd send newspaper clips, and we didn't get instant news in those days. And we would get newspaper clips that people were protesting, and we thought they were protesting us, the Marines and the soldiers, the sailors, the airmen, and we were so confused by that. And if someone is brave enough to write an editorial into your newspaper and share with your newspaper what the people in the community here are doing, in Northampton and Bucks County, what's running through your blood is patriotism. And that's what the boys and the girls want to hear. My mother was a WAC in World War II. And I'm sure she wanted to hear the same thing. She would have loved to see that her son, she had 3 sons, they all became disabled American veterans. We all returned home to serve our community. I've spent most of my life fighting for veterans, fighting for jobs, that veterans that could fly helicopters, veterans that could run tanks, veterans can do all those things, don't get sent to the back of the line when they come back here to the United States of America. And in those fights, it cost me jobs. I got fired sometimes, but I still had my dignity. And the guys and the gals that are on the battlefield, in combat, in Iraq, in Kuwait, in Bahrain, overseas, in Bosnia still, wherever they may be, they're all our sons and daughters. Whether it's your biological son, your biological daughter, they're America's sons and daughters. When those POWs came back and got off the plane, I don't know about you, but it brought tears to my eyes. Tears of joy. I've had tears both ways. And when I stayed up till, it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, I thought, why couldn't all the POWs got off at one stop? Why'd I have to wait to 2 stops? Go to 2 different places. But I watched Fort Bliss, and then I watched Fort Hood. I'm sorry, my nose is running here, too, as I'm talking, So, it's kind of human nature here, you try to do everything right and prepare for everything. I wore more clothes than all of you, but my nose is the one that's running up here, and I can't find a handkerchief. There you go. I'll just end real quick and say, with all my heart, that I've experienced the loneliness on the battlefield, the pain and suffering on the battlefield. I've experienced, the extremes of hot and the extremes of cold. Everything I experienced, all of it was kind of washed away with the thoughts of love and the thoughts of joy. And that's what you have to send back to the people that are serving the United States of America in uniform, wherever they may be serving, whether they're in the Pacific, whether in Europe, wherever they may be. We have to send to them our love, our care, our emotions. Yes, they're Americans. Yes, people here disagree, but we care about our boys. We care about our girls. We care about those that are fighting the good fight. Let them win. Someone handed out the thing and said, there may be some disagreement about the war. Well, I don't disagree at all. We won the damn war, and I'm not about to say that we lost it. I'm not going to give it and turn it back over and say, I'm sorry we won the war. There was a guy there that happened to be a sick man, and we happened to take him out of power. And I have to also believe that there's a thread that's tied into the Twin Towers. That Saddam Hussein in Iraq had something to do with those Twin Towers. Whether he festered the terrorism that went there, whether he fed it through money, whatever happened there. So I believe that our soldiers, our sailors, our Navy, our Marine drove a dagger right into the heart of terrorism by overthrowing that regime. And we owe them everything that we can give them in terms of love and patriotism. And if you can send a GI an email, if you can send a GI a letter, please do it. It means an awful lot. And if the newspaper is courageous enough to print an email, I don't know if they print the emails, but if they print something in the newspaper and cut it out, it means an awful lot. I see kids here that are now the chief of police. I see Barry, he's the chief of police. He went to high school with me. You know, you can tell you're getting older when the policemen are starting to all look younger, or else they went to school with you, you know what I mean? So half the community I have a relation with here. Jim, the photographer, and his wife. They said, gee, we've known each other for 30 years. I'm thinking I was only 18 years old when I started my public service career. The other people that are over there right now, aside from the people here in this audience, the people that are in Iraq, your sons and daughters you're going to plant flags about today and with today, they are only a few years away from being teenagers, and some of them may also be teenagers. So remember that it's only a few years ago we were in their shoes. We went through difficulties, different times in different places. Let us give them what some other generations did not get, and let us give them respect. God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank the supervisors in the Township of Northampton.
Thank you very much, Dave. True American hero. And now for the ceremony of the planting of the flags. Up here along the walkway are the family representatives of the Northampton Patriots we honor today. Each supervisor will announce the name of an honored patriot and bring that flag to the person representing him or her, whereupon the flag will be placed into the ground. We will rotate first from to my left, your right, and then to my right, your left, as each name is called alphabetically until all 24 flags have been accounted for. 12 on this side and 12 on that side. The first person we honor is Marine Corps Major Michael Sean Bodkin of Richboro, and accepting and planting the flag for him will be Margaret Bodkin.
The next honoree is Navy Petty Officer Donald Bourlier from Churchville. Flag is being presented to Dorothy Bourlier. The next honoree is Air Force Senior Airman Christopher Daly from Holland, honored by Rosemary Daly. Next honoree is Air Force Staff Sergeant Laura Danford of Holland, and Ann Danford will accept the flag. It's a pleasure. This is a lady.
The next honoree is Navy Seaman John Ehrman III from Holland. Placing the flag will be Beth Ehrman.
The next Patriot honoree will be Navy Ensign Kelly Finn of Richboro, and accepting will be Debbie Finn.
The next honoree is Marine Corps Sergeant James Griffin of Richboro. Flag will be planted by Colleen Griffin.
The next Patriot honor will be Army Specialist Danielle Hesko of Churchville, honored by her sister Allison. Next honoree is Marine Corps Corporal Joel Height of Churchville. Accepting the flag will be Joan Palestina. Say there again.
Jim, you need to bring the flag.
The next honoree is Air Force Captain Andrew Hunt of Holland. Accepting the flag will be Terry Hunt.
And you can stay where you are, guys. Let us do the work. We'll bring it to you. Save your foot. You've done enough tonight. The next honoree is Navy Electronic Technician First Class Thomas Kolb of Churchville. Accepting will be his sister, Susan.
The next honoree is Marine Corps Private First Class Paul Mathis of Churchville. Planting the flag will be Dorothea Mathis.
The next Patriot we're honoring is Navy Petty Officer Joseph McQuiggan of Churchville, being honored by his wife Cindy. Next honoree is Marine Corps Lance Corporal Edward Manto of Richboro. Accepting the flag will be Pat Manto.
honoree is Air Force Captain Michael Mondu. From Holland, accepting the flag will be Shirley Mondu.
This time I get to do a double. The honorees, Marine Corps Lance Corporals Adam Morton and Sam Morton of Churchville. Mrs. Morton will accept the flags.
The next honoree is Army Lieutenant Eric M. Stresser of Churchville, and planting the flag will be Jerry Stresser. The next Patriot we're honoring is an Army captain who I've known since he was 8 years old. He's now 26. Army Captain Eric Swenson from Churchville, honored by his parents, Ray and Jan Swenson. Next Patriot we're honoring is Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Carol Timmons of Richboro. Accepting for the flag for Carol will be Ellen Short, her aunt.
The next honoree is Marine Corps Corporal Thomas Waldron from Richboro. Accepting the flag will be Emily Waldron.
The next honoree is Navy Seaman Jerry Patrick Walker of Churchville. Planting the flag on his behalf is Kristen Walker, his wife.
The next honoree is Marine Corps Private First Class John Wilkins of Holland. The flag is being planted by Sharon Wilkins. And our final Patriot is Army Specialist 4 Zachary Wine of Richboro,
I will plant the flag for him. His father actually is on the Northampton Police Department.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to recognize Chris Ingle for a mother's prayer. Chris.
Can we all bow our heads in prayer? Dear God, look after our Northampton Patriots. Walk with them and talk with them during their watch, and spur them to bravery when they face the foe. Transfer our prayers to their hearts and keep them inspired by a never-dying faith. Throughout all the long days of hopeful victory and wherever their duty takes them, keep their spirits high and their purpose unwavering. They are our treasures. Take care of them and protect them in all their endeavors. Keep them in good health and sustain them in every possible circumstance. We hold them close in our hearts. Touch them with our thoughts of comfort and love. Give them full confidence with their every brave pursuit. May they know our deep love, concern, and prayer for each of them until they are safely home. Amen.
I'd also like to thank Becky Keel for getting those flags together and having them in the right order. Thanks, Becky. Every generation has a limited few who are truly warriors in their heart. They feel, unlike many of their peers, a deep-seated need, indeed a duty, to stand up and defend what we all cherish, and that's our freedom. They endure the physical hardships of very tough training, the emotional hardship of separation from friends and family, which is especially tough during holiday periods. And they're without many of the creature comforts we all take so much for granted within the boundaries of our own homes. They do it with a single motivation deep down inside. They want to do what is right. They want a good world, a free world for everyone, and are willing to put their own lives on the line for that belief. They want a better place for their children and parents alike. The American flag is a symbol of that for them. These young people putting their lives on the line for their countrymen who died in the attack on America at the World Trade Center towers, for the continued freedom from terrorism, for their friends, family, and fellow Americans, and for the freedom of the Iraqi people, who may not even really know what true freedom is. These are the warriors of this generation. They may like PlayStation and rap music, but they are America's newest heroes, and they should be treated as such when they return. The biggest hazard of the war appears to be over, but there is still danger there, and will be for some period of time as peace is restored and Iraq is rebuilt. Our prayers are with our troops, and with God's blessing, we wish them a safe return and thank them for putting their lives on the line for you, me, America, and the world. Let us conclude this ceremony in appropriate fashion by all of us singing along with Megan Sexton, God Bless America. Megan.
God bless America. Beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to
I just thank Megan for doing a great job and coming out here to sing. Thank you, Color Guard, for standing there all that time in the wind. We appreciate it. Again, thank you, Megan. Great job today. God bless our troops, all of their families, and God bless America. Thank you all for participating. Go home in peace. Barry Pillar, Chief Pillar, can you go up to the mic and announce these flags here?
Sure. Okay.